guys, welcome back. It has been a busy week at work, but I'm finally down here to the basement, and as you can see in the background, the basement is shaping up nicely from our move 2 weeks ago. Behind that door, I'm planning the new layout, along with a group of people helping me to plan this layout. We've got improved operations that are going into the layout, improved durability and moving capability, modular layout in its truest form. So those plans are in effect behind that door, and we're working towards a layout and getting into the execution stages of making that layout happen. In the meantime, I'm still cranking out product reviews as I can. And there's nothing more exciting to crank out a product review, even if it is a tabletop review, of the new Bachmann 284 Berkshire. Now this is a steam locomotive that is sound equipped. It's DCC sound value locomotive. That is what Bachmann has branded it as, because for the price you're getting a pretty good deal. MSRP of $329, you can find these on the internet as low as high 100s, like 190, to low 200s. But for a sound equipped steam locomotive, you're getting a great value. So we're going to go over this locomotive. This is Pere Marquette 1225. That is up in Michigan, and the prototype, the real locomotive, has just recently returned to service within the last few months. So let's take a closer look at what Bachmann offers you in this DCC sound value steam locomotive. Let's get started. So here we have the Berkshire 1225. We're going to go ahead and unbox this for you, so you see exactly what you get in this Bachmann package. You got the locomotive itself, sleeve for the locomotive that kind of got stuck in the box there, and we have several pieces of different guides and manuals. This is a quick start guide. It's going to go over some of your functions, F0 through F8, and it talks about voltage, programming notes, decoder specifications, and other goodies. Got your Bachmann DCC onboard manual with the exploded parts diagram inside. This is just showing you what part numbers if you need to order something, or if you're kind of one of those folks that likes to disassemble things yourself, to look at things or repair things or tweak things. It shows you how the locomotive is put together. You got your 1-year warranty from Bachmann for products purchased in the USA or Canada. I'm sure Bachmann Europe probably has something different. You've got your available 344-page color Bachmann Williams catalog that you can order for 11 bucks. It's like a little send-in card. You have your warranty card here, so you're just putting the item number, the address, and all that stuff to receive. You can receive a Bachmann e-letter if you put your email address. And last but not least, you've got a notice talking about the electronic emission regulations, NMRA compliant DCC decoders, and how to prevent damage on your locomotive. So that's it for that. Now let's open up the steam locomotive here and take a look. Got plastic bracing with plastic all around, with some actual soft plastic protecting the model from the hard plastic. You have the locomotive and the tender, which are separate. You have to install together. It's pretty simple though. As we look at the tender, you'll see a 4-pin plug and a 2-pin plug. That is the female part. Kind of hard to see what's going on there, but it's really simple because you install it underside of the locomotive right there, 4-pin and 2-pin to the male part, and then you simply connect the drawbar, which is right here, to the pin. And you have a couple different settings on distance. You can have it closely coupled. It's trying to escape me there, but that's close coupled, or you can have it further away. Now for the second setting, you're going to need that for tighter radius type curves and things like that, but the close couple looks more realistic. Let's go ahead and move on to some of the details of this locomotive and operation. Some of you may know that the prototype 1225 Pere Marquette Berkshire up in Michigan just returned to service in fall of 2013 after 4 years of maintenance. Now, when it returned to service just last fall, it was in an all-black scheme. Here you see prominently displayed the white running board and white wall tires that the 1225 has also had in several schemes in the past. The crew will sometimes change the scheme of this locomotive from all black to the white wall tires and white running board stripes. This model accurately portrays the version of the 1225 with the white wall tires and the running board stripes. There's also a lot of other features of this locomotive that I want to point out that kind of jump out at me as well done by Bachmann. First of all, you've got the flying number boards, which are on the prototype. These aren't backlit, but they're nicely done. You've got a metallic bell here that does swivel, just like a real bell. You've got non-operating marker lights. These are classification lights, and they are not backlit, but most model manufacturers don't actually light these. You've got 1225 on each side of the headlight, a nice headlight that I believe captures the model, the prototype accurately, and 1225 on the front. And we'll take another look at the headlight a little later on. You've got a coupler cut lever, you've got the cow catcher, which is accurately done. You've got the front leading trucks, and you've got the Bachmann Easy Make 2 coupler. Now that's a plastic coupler, but I didn't have any problem with Bachmann couplers in the past really snapping, pulling consists. And you probably won't be pulling super long consists with this locomotive because a prototypical consist is a dozen or 2 dozen passenger cars at max. As we work our way back, you'll see the smokestack, nicely done. This doesn't have operating smoke. This is just a simple flattened out smokestack, but I have seen some DCC installers that will install smoke in this. If you do, you'll probably have to hardwire a soothe smoke unit in there and put smoke fluid in there a lot. So I don't mind the fact that it's not smoking, not a smoking unit, and for the price, you're getting a good deal just with the sound and the DCC and the detail level you get. Speaking of detail, the handrails are nice and sturdy. They are not waved, they're not flimsy, they're real nicely done. And I believe they are plastic, but they hold up just like if they were metal. You've got nice side gear, the valve rods and all the action that goes along the side on the wheels, well done. Pere Marquette is emblazoned on the side here, just like on the prototype. You've got lines, valves going all the way up the side. You've got the whistle, and you've got the dynamo and other things detailed out on the top. Now let's move the locomotive forward a little bit, and I'll show you some more detail towards the cab side. The cab windows are fixed open. They do not open and close. 1225 is clearly printed on the side, just like the prototype. You've got some nice rivet detail on the firebox here. You can see the detail, and you've got some other separately applied detail going along the side here. You've got the trailing trucks, again, also in white wall, just like the front trucks and the main drivers. And you've got a vent that is fixed open up top. There are no cab figures installed, but you can easily install cab figures yourself with the open area in the back. The connection is made that we mentioned earlier with 4-pin connection and 2-pin connection so that you can connect the tender to the locomotive. Speaking of the tender, you've got this nice realistic coal load up top. You've also got the coal sloping down towards the front as if it's being fed into the locomotive. Pere Marquette is also emblazoned on the side, very clear, nice, and it looks like it's accurate to the prototype. Towards the back of the tender, you've got handrails. You've got 3 hatches up top and a ladder going along the back. So now let's take a look at the operation of this locomotive and let you hear the sounds and see how smoothly this Bachmann drive is on this Berkshire steam locomotive. Now there's no startup to this locomotive, at least out of the box, so I've just went ahead and applied track power. We're going to go straight into moving just a couple speed steps to see how this reacts. Right now we're at 1 speed step on my ESU Ecos command station. And as you can see, the locomotive is lurching along very slowly. Yet it's surprisingly smooth for one speed step. I'm not seeing a lot of jerks in the movement of this at one speed step. Let's go ahead and go to 2, 3. Now we're at 4. You can hear the chuff sound of this locomotive, a decent bass coming from that value sound decoder, which happens to be produced by Soundtracks. And a surprisingly smooth drive, well done by Bachmann. Go reverse direction so we can see it in reverse, see if it's just as smooth. And I'll kick it up a little faster to about 6 or 7. Let's go 6 speed steps. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring the locomotive back towards the camera here. Center it up and we'll listen to some sounds coming from this Soundtracks value sound decoder. First, F1 is obviously the bell, so let's listen to that. Now we're going to listen to the whistle. Now keep in mind the whistle has a quill to it, but I'm not quilling that with anything. There's just a quill built in when you're hitting F2, the quill function, or the whistle function. Okay, so as long as you hold F2, it's going to make that sound. It'll keep playing the recenter of it until you let off F2, which it'll then quill back off the whistle. Let's go ahead and do the short whistle, which is F3. So that's the short whistle there, and you kind of get an idea of what that sounds like. There's no quill on that short whistle. Also, F4 is a steam release. Let's listen to that real quick. And the only other functions they really have listed is the F7 for the dimmer and F8 for mute. We'll skip that and we'll go ahead and do a grade crossing whistle sequence. A lot of people ask for those so you can get an idea of what this locomotive would sound like going across a grade crossing. So I'm really a big fan of that whistle because it sounds prototypically correct from a couple videos I found. I think that quill at the beginning and end is nice, and it's also not quilling in the middle as long as you hold that F2 button on. So really nicely done. One of the better whistles I've heard on a steam locomotive. Very impressed with the sounds coming out of this Bachmann value sound equipped locomotive. The details pretty well done. The operation is smooth and the sound is nice. And I think the best part is you get all of that for the price of, anywhere around $200. So I think it's a good price, a good value for this locomotive. With that said, let's wrap this review up with some final thoughts. So my final thoughts on this locomotive is that it's very nicely done from Bachmann. Nice smooth drive, nice sound like I mentioned, operation and detail are there. You've got a nice headlight that I wanted to show you. And switching to reverse, you have a nice reverse light as well. The detail's nicely done. You do have a little bit of molded grab irons in some areas mixed with separately applied details, but overall for the price, it is a great value. Now let's cover one more thing before I let you guys go. As you guys know, I get mail from time to time at my P.O. Box, which is P.O. Box 13497 off at Air Force Base, Nebraska 68113. And recently I just got a letter from a viewer named Andrew. I'm going to withhold his address, but this was the envelope it came in. Nice Union Pacific pink ribbon unit, JLWII 2000, even put my Colts on there. Real nice of Andrew, but I bring this up for a very specific reason. Andrew writes in part of his letter that he is a big fan of Union Pacific. His channel is actually Union Pacific Rail Fan, so if you want to look him up and subscribe to his channel, that'd be cool. He talks about his first heritage unit being the Chicago Northwestern SD70 ACE, the first one that he saw, and he just drew me a picture of an SD70 ACE and an AC 4400 at a crossing with a P42 over on this side. I could never draw this good, even today, so he did a really great job, and I appreciate that from Andrew. Now, why do I bring that up in a Bachmann review or any review? Guys, the future of the hobby are products like this and people like Andrew. If you can get an affordable product with DCC and sound that operates good, that holds up to quality tests, that looks nice, has decent detail, it's not going to hinder people from going in the hobby. They're going to see a product that's available at a good price, and they're going to go into the hobby and have fun with it. And I think that's what Bachmann really hits the nail on the head here. They've got an economical product at a decent price. Looking at some competitors of Berkshire, there's only one I can think of off the top of my head. The Berkshires are in the $450, $500 range, sometimes $550 or $600. You get this for $200. Even if you pay MSRP, you're in $300 range. That's way more of a value. You're still getting sound, a smooth drive, good detail. So overall, I think Bachmann really hit a grand slam with this item. A lot of those things come into play when young people are trying to get in the hobby, or people that don't have large budgets, just ginormous budgets to really throw money around. And I think that's where Bachmann's really doing a service to the hobby, and I think that's where this product really strikes a chord with the modelers out there. So a great product, great functions, just overall I'm really impressed. If I have to pick one thing I'm impressed the most about, it's the sound. I don't really see any downside to this locomotive. Some of you detail rivet counter nuts could probably pick out several things. The detail could be a little better. The schemes change on Pere Marquette. So the white wall tires and white running board stripe are there on some years, missing on other years. So you're kind of hit and miss with that. But overall, great product from Bachmann. And with that said, guys, I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for your patience as I build my new layout. And right now we're just limited to tabletop reviews. We will be back to full reviews hopefully by the winter, and back to pull tests, things like that. Speaking of pull tests, this locomotive seems to pull pretty well. I've kind of held it while it's running. It seems to tug on my hand pretty well, but I don't have my pull test meter. I can't hook up a passenger consist with my layout just getting restarted. So there are some things we can't do, but overall, even though it's lightweight, it seems to pull pretty well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on my channel. Take care.